What is up, Ninja Nation? Welcome back to Pitching Ninja's filthiest pitches of the day. Today, we're going to be doing a wild card round overview. So be sure to hit subscribe, and without further ado, here we go. We're here with a special wild card round preview. I'm here with Will Leahey, the unsung hero of Pitching Ninja videos, who deals with all my BS every day, puts together some awesome stuff. Not only that, but he's a brilliant baseball mind. Right, Will?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ninja. Great to be back on the Pitching Ninja show after almost a full year. You know, we kind of had me a little more behind the scenes this year, which is really what it's all about because nobody needs to see this ugly mug. But yeah, really excited about these games, Ninja. I'm actually going to the Met game tonight. Real psyched about that. Thought we were getting to Grom, but you know how that can be. Scherzer, not a bad second option though. What are you looking for in this series, Ninja?
I'm very familiar with Max Scherzer. Actually, interesting enough, he is my most tweeted pitcher on my Twitter account over the years. I don't know where that stat came from. I think it's probably Codify who just comes up with all these random stats. But I love Scherzer. I think it doesn't matter having DeGrom go later in an important game, maybe err on the side of giving him a little bit more rest. But what I look for is Mets dominant starting pitching going against the Padres. That's a pretty good matchup.
Kind of underrated staff there. So I think the Mets have their hands full. I got him in two.
Really? That's interesting. So Darvish has been as good as anybody the last couple of months. Snell, same thing. And Musgrove. Musgrove was a Cy Young contender for a good part of the year and also has been, flashes of brilliance. So, and Hader coming back. Like Hader looks more like Hader.
Yeah, it was kind of a nervous homer pick here, Ninja. I live in Queens, about 15 minutes from City. I do think the Mets can pull it out after the devastating sweep to the Braves last week, but Padres pitching has come around at the perfect time. All those aces they have are pitching like aces, so Mets will have their hands full. Moving over to the other NL series, we got Wheeler versus Quintana. What are we thinking here for this series, Ninja?
So I'm not entirely high on Cardinals starting pitching. Wainwright struggled with dead arm. Flaherty, if he's 100%, Flaherty is an ace. But there's still questions. Quintana's had some really good outings and he can be good. It's just betting against Wheeler and Nola is kind of a tough call. Like Jose Alvarado in the last couple of months has been unhittable. And I don't think everybody in the baseball world, other than people that watch this channel, realize how good he is. And that is a huge bump for the Phillies in any series, having a reliable guy like that, a shutdown guy at the end of the game, because you're going against Ron Helsley, who is as good a shutdown guy as there is, and you need something to counter that. So the ability for Wheeler and Nola to hand it off to him is a big deal. Those are elite of elite pitchers, and I don't see that with the Cardinals matchup. Michaelis can be good. He's a solid option, but is he as solid as Aaron Nola? That's a tough call. Although then you have the Cardinals bullpen where you have Helsley at the end, who's as good as anybody. So, that's kind of an interesting spin, is how fast can they get it to those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cardinals top two in the rotation probably edges them out, like you said. But I'm interested to see what Michaelis will do.
Right?
Yeah, I completely butchered that, Ninja. Yeah, but I'm interested to see. Whatever I said, the exact opposite. But I'm interested to see how Michaelis does on Saturday night. He was an All-Star this year. He can prove his salt here, and I think it'll be something to behold. The dark horse here in this series, Ninja, I think you might know what I'm going to say, but young pitchers or younger-ish pitchers pitching to Albert Pujols, who's been hotter than Aaron Judge the second half of the season, and I don't think anybody's going to want to be facing him and at a place in the lineup that you might not expect. Just something to keep an eye out for, Ninja. And I might actually have Pujols on Don Watch. I'll update you with the odds here, but look for Pujols going deep in Game 1 of this series. Moving to the AL here, Ninja, with the earliest game of the day, which, who knows, might even be wrapped up by the time people end up watching this, so you can lampoon our predictions now. But who you got? McClanahan versus Bieber. We got former Cy Young winner versus future Cy Young winner. Who do you like in Game 1 matchup here, Ninja?
It depends to me which McClanahan shows up. Shane at his best is as good a pitcher as there is in the American League. He struggled a little bit at times. If he's throwing, 99 and he's got his nasty changeup and breaking balls, that's a tough matchup for anybody. Bieber has been like probably the underrated story of the year because he doesn't open any eyes with his velo. A guy throwing low 90s, but just with pinpoint command and excellent sequencing. He is a pitcher. He's a pitching guy's pitcher to watch. Both of these guys are. Like McClanahan opened your eyes, which is filthy stuff. Bieber is an artist, and it's even more, I think it's even more obvious without the velo when you see how well this guy paints. And then at the end of the game, you hand the ball to Emmanuel Clase, or you bridge it with James Karinchak, who's certainly worth the price of admission just to watch. And Stefan's been really good for them too. So they have a lot in their bullpen. There could be, they could be pretty dangerous. The Rays bullpen's no slouch either. You end it with, you Fairbanks, Adam. They have some filth too. I think this is a great series. Like, I think it's fun. I have this fairly even.
Yeah, the 3-game home field advantage is interesting. And just, I guess, before you go on the last game, Ninja, talking about kind of the new format, what are your thoughts on the format compared to years past?
So I love the one and done format just because every game was almost like it's almost like a football game where you have elimination on, just that one game and then you're done. The thing that I like better about it this year is these pitching staffs they're loaded, and it gives you more ability for a national audience to see how good these guys are. And you're not felt deprived of, if one team if the Padres are, we're one and done, you're missing seeing Blake Snell at his best or Musgrove at his best. If the Mets were one and done, you're missing out on DeGrom. To me, it gives more ability to see the pitching. There's a little more strategy. I like the idea. I like the rest for the top teams to be able to set things up. I don't know. Like, I came to love this format when I've done analyzing these matchups. Made me realize how much I like this format.
I agree. I mean, I love the format. I think just one game is too few in a sport that plays 162. I don't like one bad pitch necessarily, spoiling a team's season. So yeah, I'm all for the new format. But going into the final series, Mariners Blue Jays, in game one we got Castillo versus Manoah, which battle of maybe the filthiest changeup in the game versus just some of the overall filthiest stuff. I know two guys you absolutely love, Ninja. What are you looking for in this series?
If Castillo is Castillo, it's going to be really interesting. Like, he can be a little uneven at times and look lights out and then not look lights out the next inning. Manoah's been pretty consistent this year. Castillo at his best is can shut down anybody. And I expect him to be at his best. I think this is an interesting series and pretty tighter than most people would think, because I don't think Seattle's gotten the props for their starting rotation as well as the back end of their bullpen. Munoz has been literally as good as anybody in the bullpen. And you have a starting rotation, young, but pretty darn dominant. Like, Logan Gilbert is at electric factory pitching. Luis Castillo, electric factory pitching. Robbie Ray at the top of his game shuts pretty much anybody down. So on the flip side, you have Gosman, who, for the entire year has looked, at least at times, absolutely unhittable. Manoah is as good as anybody, obviously. And then, your other option, is it Stripling, I assume, is more consistent than Barrios, but yeah, I don't know.
I'm pulling big time for the Mariners here, as I think most of the country is. Mariners have not been back, well documented, but have not been back since their historic season in 2001. Just lost then. They were supposed to win the World Series. Haven't even sniffed it since. I think it would be incredible for them to make a serious run here. So I'm really pulling for that, Ninja.
It's really hard not to like Seattle, I guess, as a team. And we didn't even mention George Kirby, who's as good a young pitcher, at least command wise and stuff wise. Like, I think he's got a huge upside. I think he's just scratching the surface, but what you've seen this year is incredible command with really, really good stuff and a good makeup. Be curious to see if he gets, what role he has going forward. but a very likable pitcher to watch.
And Ninja, do you have any picks for today?
It is wild card season. I'm fired up, so I figured I would have a wild 5-leg parlay for you. And the cool thing about today is FanDuel's offering parlay insurance. Here's some details on that. I'm going to start off with Shane Bieber for 6 Ks or more, then take Zack Wheeler for 5 Ks or more. I'm going to take Luis Castillo to have more Ks than Alek Manoah, and then Darvish for 5 Ks or more, and Max Scherzer for 6 Ks or more. FanDuel also allows you to bet on which pitcher will have the most Ks today, and I'm going to go with Luis Castillo. Castillo can really rack up the strikeouts, and I like these odds. Which pitcher do you think will have the most Ks today?